Hello, my name is Edson Oliveira and I'll be presenting this video for DNNHero.com, and in this video I'll be talking about the style sheet hierarchy in DotNetNuke. So in DotNetNuke we have many different CSS files, and it will, depending on which file you make a change, it may impact the site or may not, because maybe there is another CSS file overwriting that one. So it would be a good idea if you understand the priority sequence of CSS files in a .NET website. So let's have a look at the site structure, the file structure in .NET, and I'll go through a couple of those files. Let's open the root folder of my site. Here it is. Let's go to portals. Under the portal, let's go to default. Now, under default, the very first file that you need to understand, the one at the very top of the list, is the default.css. This file here is the root file in all the CSS hierarchy in a .NET website. After that, we have the skin level file. In our case, we are using the minimal entropy skin, so we can go to the skins folder and to the minimal entropy folder. Now we have a bunch of CSS files here, but we just want to talk about one specific, the one called skin.css. This is the next one after the default.css. Then it comes the skin.css. Now, after the skin.css, which is the general file that comes with the definitions for the skin, then we have to go to the specific CSS file that is being used by the skin option that you are using in the page. In our case here, we are using the skin called index.ascx from minimal entropy. So the next file in the hierarchy after skin.css is the name of the skin, which in our case is called index.css. So this is the third level. After that we go to the container level. Now we are also using the minimal entropy containers. So we're gonna go to the containers folder, minimal entropy folder, and then we have the container.css, which basically holds general definitions for all the different containers. Now, one level after that is the specific container being used by your content. And in our case, if I go to this test page, the container that is being used here, or in this area that I'm calling my header, the container there is called title blue, and I will show later on where you can see this title blue set in that particular module. So after the container.css, we have the title blue.css, because this is a specific container being used for this area, for the area that I'm working with the styles. Now, at the very bottom, what will come next is the portal level CSS. It's no longer under the default folder. It's actually my portal folder, and the default portal for any .NET installation is the portal 0. So under 0, I'm going to be able to find a file that is called portal.css, which is this one here. So at the very bottom of the hierarchy, we have the portal.css. So here's a quick overview of the different files that we're talking about here. At the very top, default.css. After that, skin.css. After that, the specific skin being used by that page, in our case, index.css, but again, if it's not the index, might be something else here. Then after that, the container generic CSS. After that, the specific container that you're using, and after that, the portal.css. So in our case, portal.css will override everything else prior to it. And the same goes to each one. Title blue will overwrite anything prior to it until we get to default.css. Next thing I want to show is how do I know that we need to change one of the files in the hierarchy. Here is the index.css. Very simple. This is the same name as the skin being used in this page. So let's log into the backend so we can find out which skin is being used there. I'm gonna log in as host level. Under test, I can go to the control panel and I can click on edit and see if there is any skin set to this page. So let's go to advanced settings, and under page skin it says use portal default. So there's none set. To know which one is the portal default, we go to admin site settings and then we go to appearance. So portal skin, the skin that is being used is minimal XRP, which is the global package, and the specific skin inside of minimal XRP that we're using is index. So that's why I know that this is the one that we are talking about when it comes down to the specific skin that this page is using. Now the other thing that I want to show is why am I assuming that this is title blue at this level here. Very simple. If I go back to the page, and in this module I can go to the module settings and I can check and see under page settings what is the module container for that area, for that module, and it is minimal XRP, which is the name of the package, and the specific container being used is called title blue. So that's the reason why the specific container CSS is called title blue Dot Css. This is the end of part 1 of the video about the CSS hierarchy in DotNetNuke.